Coming up on Up at Noon, the Lego Batman movie might be the best Batman movie yet. I'm already spending money on Kojima's new game, and it doesn't have a release date. And Castlevania is getting an R-rated Netflix show? All that and more right now on Up at Noon Live.
Hello and welcome to Up at Noon. Ooh, it's nice and dark in here. Sultry.
Wow, yeah, it's very dark.
Oh, there we go.
There,
Come
oh,
on.
thank you. No, it was
Why?
cool, it was good, come on.
It was so romantic.
It was really, I was gonna make
We're about to get to third base with the audience.
I was gonna finally make my move.
Unbelievable.
After all these years.
Up at Noon's our weekly comedy variety show here at IGN. I'm Brian Altano, this is Max Scoville. You can follow along in the show on Twitch, YouTube, IGN, pretty much everything else. Roku, PS4, Xbox. You can also interact with us live during the show using the hashtag Up at Noon.
That's on Twitter, yeah.
On Twitter.
You can use it on other platforms. We might not see it though.
If you put it on Instagram, I'll see it in like a year.
Yeah, that's always fun.
It's a weird site.
Yeah, tag us in a photo of your TV. People do that all the time, and I'm like, that's technically me, I guess. Yeah, we've actually got some fun stuff to give away. We've got codes for that game we were just playing, Diluvian. They were provided for us by the fine folks. I forget the name of the company. I'm terrible at this. But yeah, we've got, I think, 10 codes to give away. So we've hopefully got somebody in the chat on whatever it is you're watching on, being able to give those away. So Twitch or YouTube, whichever.
Yeah. Keep an eye out.
That game is really cool. It's kind of hard to jump into it and talk over it while there's like men in bars like telling you how to play and stuff.
It's very peaceful.
Yeah.
I think we might have killed someone in that game.
Oh no, we definitely killed someone.
Yeah.
We looked it up. Scuttled means everyone's dead. You've been scuttled is you all died.
Is that true?
I don't know. Probably not.
Oh, I got worried.
We have a lot of nautical lies coming up. We got a good show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. It was a weird week. It was kind of like slow initially. We were scrounging for news to talk about, and then suddenly everything just started popping up.
Yeah.
And there's lots of cool stuff to talk about. So on that note, this might sound like a little bit of an evergreen story to you. On the subject of free games, we figured we'd count down the 10 best PlayStation Plus games of all time.
Yeah, so we're big PlayStation guys. We host Podcast Beyond here at IGN. The PlayStation Plus update just hit this week. On PS4, there were 5 games to download. And I think that like invariably the same sort of thing happens every time the games are announced on the blog. People go, this sucks.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm disappointed. They want, I think people they want just big AAA games. They don't want indie games. They don't want platforming games. They don't want puzzle games or walking simulators. I'm cool with all that stuff. I think PlayStation Plus is a great way to experience things that I otherwise never would have touched.
Totally, yeah.
You look at the success of something like Rocket League, which just went completely insane. It was one of the most downloaded games of the year when it launched. And that was majorly in part to PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
So I think when you look at PlayStation Plus, it's $50 a year, $40 a year, $30 a year if you get a good deal on it.
I mean, yeah, it's about the price of a full game.
Yeah.
But
couple bucks a month. You get connected online, and you get some downloads every month for PS4, PS3, and Vita games. Hopefully PSVR someday soon.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But like I said, people have never really truly been happy about it. Sometimes you get a really good game and then a couple like not so good ones, or they don't really straight up just give you garbage. But PlayStation Plus has been around for 4 or 5 years now, for a very long time. So we figured we'd look through some of the best PlayStation Plus games of all time, because I don't think it's always been that bad. I think it's been really good.
It's really easy to look at PlayStation Plus and be like, man, this month's haul sucks. It's like a bunch of PS3 games, some old PS2 games, copy of Madden or whatever. But in reality, if you see it all together, it's kind of impressive. So yeah, here are kind of the 10 best games that have shown up on there. Starting with Tomb Raider. This is sort of useless because this was back in March 2014, but even better, like the fact that in March 2014 they were like, hey, here's this pretty new game.
Yeah, this was the reboot of the Tomb Raider franchise that we, hopefully all grew up playing because they were awesome games. But this was a big, awesome AAA game. Ended up getting a sequel that was Xbox One exclusive, and eventually came to PS4. So I think there's hope that we could see something like Rise of the Tomb Raider come to PlayStation Plus eventually too. I'm not exactly sure how those conversations go, who calls who. But
yeah, it almost feels like a consolation prize a lot of time with PS Plus, because they will have like games that were like AAA games for PS3 and then more indie stuff for PS4. But it's like, if you're PS4, you get more new games anyway.
Yeah, I totally agree.
One of my personal favorites ever, Far Cry Blood Dragon, which was December 2015. I love Far Cry Blood Dragon. That's actually, I think I think I have it backwards compatible on Xbox One now, and I've been tempted to replay it over and over again because it's just wonderfully short and stupid.
Yeah, and it's the perfect kind of game for PlayStation Plus because I think a lot of people slept on it. It looks like the type of thing that you're like, maybe I played Far Cry 3 and I don't know if I want to spend $20 on the expansion pack or anything like that. Or this weird, bizarre remix of the game.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect place to play a surprise game like that. I think I wish we saw more sort of one-off scenarios like that. We got like that infamous DLC, The First Light.
I mean, it felt like a remix album.
Yep.
It was like a shorter kind of like, here's the B-sides, flipped around.
Yep.
Of course, you start to notice different publishers are more akin to being generous on PS Plus, and apparently Square Enix is one of them. Sleeping Dogs was given away for free.
Yep.
That game is amazing. That is another, no pun intended, game that slept on a lot.
Yep.
We just found out the studio folded, so we're probably not going to get a sequel ever. But yeah, it's a good one. It's out there. That's available on, I think, everything. They put out like a definitive edition that was like an HD remaster.
Yeah.
So.
And one thing I want to point out about PlayStation Plus is that I've been subscribing for a few years now, and the cool thing is like I initiated like basically a purchase or a download for those games back in the day, and then like last year I was like, oh yeah, that's right, I have Sleeping Dogs, and it was still in my library. So as long as you stay sort of subscribing to the service. I believe even if you lapse, there's a sort of like forgiveness window.
No, it's a good service for digital hoarders.
Yeah.
Smaller game, but one of the best Metroidvanias of recent history, Guacamelee. They put out the Super Turbo Championship Edition, which had a bunch of extra bells and whistles. That game it's fascinating because I believe it's cross-platform. Like you can play it on Vita, you can play it on PS3, you can play it on PS4. That was the first game I played that had cloud saves that you could switch between platforms. And there are certain parts of it that are easier on Vita and certain parts that are easier with a PS3 controller. But yeah, this game, if you see it on sale, just buy it. It's so good.
It's an incredible platforming game.
Yeah.
Great art direction, incredibly challenging. Yeah, one of my favorites. And like you get a lot of people saying like I don't like indie games and I don't like platforming games. That is the one that completely shatters all the molds when it comes to things like that.
Totally. Now back to AAA, BioShock Infinite. Awesome game. I think at this point, like everyone's played it, or they should have, and it's cool that it pops up on PS Plus so other people can. Batman Arkham City, like that's one of those ones where you're like, okay, so what's the catch? Like, this is a massive, incredible. I would say, not perfect, but it's like if you had to pick like 5 games to tell somebody to play because they were getting put in a volcano or something. I don't know. I don't know the circumstances here, but that's definitely one of them. Like this is a great game.
That's like the origin story for a Batman villain, ironically.
Yeah.
It's like you have to go in a volcano and you only have 5 games to play.
Yeah.
And no kissing.
And this is one I jumped on recently, Resident Evil, was it remake?
Yeah, this is the GameCube remake that was originally part of the Capcom 5, which ironically were 5 exclusive games for GameCube, one of which never came out and 4 ended up on every other platform.
Yeah.
So Resident Evil Remake is one of my favorite Resident Evil games of all time. I just finished Resident Evil 7, and I've been itching to replay this, and then I realized I was actually going to go and spend $20 on it, and I realized that I had this in my library thanks to PlayStation
wonderful
Plus.
Digital hoarder.
Yep.
Journey, a lot of people's kind of best game ever, game of the year, whatever.
Yeah, it was IGN's Game of the Year it launched.
It's a wonderful game. Again, it's like, oh, here's a little indie game, but that's also, that was one of the ones I think that came out for PS4, and they were like, hey, if you bought it on PS3, it's just, you got it. There you go.
You had it already. It was really cool. That's one of those, I think, like games that you show to people who sort of question how the video game medium can tell a story.
Yeah.
You just go, look at this, try this.
And then NBA 2K16, which is the 2016th iteration of the popular NBA RPG franchise.
Yeah,
where all those men have to use their power orbs.
This is kind of a big deal because this is only a couple. You've never played these games, have you?
I don't know.
You don't know what basketball is.
What is it? Is that an egg?
No. It looks here like they're summoning some sort of red mana.
They're running from the fog, the red blood fog.
This was kind of a big deal because you don't really see a lot of sports games on PlayStation Plus, and that is a huge demographic of people that love PlayStation. They just don't really get those games. They have to buy them annually, and that was just a few months after that game was out, so it was really cool.
Yeah, and then of course Injustice: Gods Among Us. We're just around the corner from getting the new Injustice. Yeah. I hope that they like start recycling some PS Plus games that maybe that hadn't been around, or you might have slept on or whatever.
Yep. What I like about this, and the same thing we saw with Guacamelee, is this is the Ultimate Edition, which has everything. This has all of the DLC, all the extra characters, all the extra stuff, all the extra modes. And it's all just there, and
Yeah.
you just get it for a couple bucks a month. So
Yeah.
it's a good deal.
It's good stuff. So yeah, next time you start to say that PlayStation Plus is a bunch of garbage and it doesn't have good games. I mean, it does have good games, just sometimes more than others. Sometimes it's a dry month.
Tim Carrick on Twitter says, my list: Injustice, Rocket League, Broforce. That was a fun one.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, Little Big Planet 3, which just launched this month if you have PlayStation Plus.
I need to get that.
Tomb Raider and Blood Dragon.
Yeah.
That's like, I mean, it's just awesome.
Yeah, also, one thing they do, we didn't talk about this too much, but periodically they'll just release a brand new game on PS Plus. Like, I think Ollie Ollie was like, or Ollie Ollie 2 was like that.
Yeah.
Where they were like, hey, this isn't out yet, but if you have PS Plus, it's yours now. It's like, what? What is that? Just like a straight up free game?
Yeah.
I think Rocket League was it the same way? They just gave it to you? Like, what the hell? Like, how is that a business model?
And then they were selling it a few months later.
Yeah, so-
yeah, it's really cool. You also get a bunch of sales and discounts through PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know anybody who doesn't have it, I guess. Or I mean, I frequently try to sell people on it. Like, it's like a good setup, and it's kind of cool that Xbox is doing the same thing with games with gold.
We'll probably follow this up in a little while, maybe next week or the week after, with the best games with gold games of all time on Xbox, because they've been doing the same thing.
The cool thing with them, though, is that they're backwards compatible. So if they're like, hey, here's a game for that thing you traded in to get the new one, it still helps you out.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. And Nintendo, come on, man.
For $7 a month,
What's going on?
You can use the Splatoon chat with your friend codes.
And play Urban Champion with your dad.
All right, so one of the biggest announcements this week was the fact that E3 is going to be allowing 15,000 fans, consumers, civilians, for lack of a better term, attend E3, which is historically a kind of business trade show. You have the press, you have businessmen, you have guys who own video game stores, or Professor GameStop goes there occasionally. But yeah, like this is nuts. This is a huge, unprecedented thing. We've all been kind of speculating about when it would happen in the near future because convention culture has gotten bigger and bigger. A lot of people, I don't know if they're going to jump on this because PAX is cheaper, it's more fun, Comic-Con has more stuff going on, but E3 still is E3, so it's exciting. We've been to E3 a bunch of times.
Yeah, this will be my 8th.
I think this will be my 6th or 5th or 6th. I don't know. But yeah, point is, we've been around long enough to kind of get the sense of it, and this might completely go out the window now that they're opening it up to, I think 15,000 consumer badges are being sold. They're like $250 a piece, which is pretty steep.
Yeah, there's like a special deal for the first batch of them being sold. You can get it at a discount.
But here are basically like the 5 kind of do's and don'ts for how to deal with E3 from a couple of seasoned vets. Starting with the food, you have to eat, otherwise you will starve to death and die. Probably won't happen over the course of the few days that E3 takes to finish, but you should still eat things. You should not eat convention center food. It is really bad and it is very expensive. What you should do is eat from the food trucks, because there are a ton of food trucks there. The food truck culture in LA, if you're from out of town, is a big, huge thing. There are like street hot dogs, which you might be rolling the dice with that if you got a picky tummy, but just don't get like a $17 Caesar salad that was just like half-assedly thrown together.
The pizza there, it looks like if a kid drew a pizza and then an adult had to make it.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I spent like 5 minutes trying to find a pulled pork sandwich that was appropriately depressing, and I couldn't even find one, so I just took a regular one and lowered the contrast and saturation.
That actually looks pretty good.
I had like the worst pulled pork sandwich.
At E3?
Like, I made ones for myself in college that were better than that one, and that one cost like $17 or something. Anyway.
Quick pro tip, if you're waiting in lines to play, Zelda Breath of the Wild or whatever, that game will be out by then, but whatever it is, Bloodborne 2, hopefully, you're probably going to be standing for a couple of hours, so bring some energy bars with you.
That's
get some,
always smart,
RX bars or Lara bars or whatever they are. Get a handful of almonds or something.
Yeah.
Try to stay away from food that's going to make you real farty, like a real fart dude.
Well,
because that's gross.
Yeah, it also is going to make you have to go to the bathroom, so that's the other thing, is the problem with food is when you eat it, it has to go someplace after a couple hours.
Down your legs.
Yeah, it's all over the back of the inside of your pants. No, so the bathrooms at E3 are hellish. They are really, really bad, so don't go to the ground floor bathrooms at like 4:30 in the afternoon.
What happened in there?
A street fight, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're awful. However, they do clean them every day. I don't know who. No, they do. If you go there first thing in the morning, the bathrooms are fine. But if you go there later in the day, they suck. Also, the big tip is to go kind of off the beaten path. Like, don't go like out in the middle of some hallway and take a dump, but like go find bathrooms that are kind of off the main hall.
There's an escalator that'll bring you upstairs that has a bunch of meeting areas and not a lot of big booths or anything like that. and you tuck away and do a little dunk over there.
Those are really weird though, because they'll still get disgusting by the end of the day.
Yeah.
But they'll be empty, and like one of the lights will be out, and you're like, "Am I in The Last of Us? This is awful." Other thing, wash your hands for the love of God. Just wash your hands. Bring hand sanitizer. Just stay on top of this.
Yeah,
you're going to be touching controllers.
They sell hand sanitizer at literally every store. Walgreens. There's stores all around the neighborhood. You can get the spray kind or the gel kind. Just put some of that on there. And
I mean, like I'm like the least germophobic dude around, but like I've gotten it's just nasty because you're going to be touching controllers that have been touched by like a whole bunch of people. Anyway, next up. Big thing is navigation. Crowds are a huge part of E3. They're the two main halls. There's the West Hall and the South Hall, which doesn't make any sense because they're like, you think if you have two of them, maybe they just north and south or east and west, but they were like, whatever, west and south, figure it out, look at a map, get lost. There's stuff, if you look at the map, that looks like it's the fastest way, but that's also like the main way. So you're going to be going through massive, massive crowds and, you know, people getting clogged at doorways. So a good trick is to take maybe a sort of roundabout way where there are less people and you can just power walk and not have like, you know, 85 dudes with backpacks in front of you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
A shortcut to that is you can go outside where some of the food trucks are. Either in front of the building or through the center of it, through one courtyard. You'll be able to get there.
Yeah.
And that line thing really applies to everything in there. Like we said, the food, if you're trying to eat in there, is major lines.
Yep.
There's a coffee shop in there that used to be a Starbucks, and I think they lost the license. I don't know what happened.
There's still people in line, though.
Yeah, there's still people in line.
It's such a long line that they're still waiting.
They're still waiting.
Yeah.
So, like, get your coffee before you get to E3. If that's what you're looking
Figured
for.
it out. A lot of these can apply to just conventions in general.
Yeah.
The thing about E3 though is it's in downtown LA, which is it's not a terrible area. Mostly, there are some really horrible areas, but it's kind of like it's like any big major city where you can walk one block and it's like, oh, cool, there's nice stores, and then you walk the next block and there's a guy like stabbing you with a syringe.
Yeah.
So big thing, if you're going out at night, don't bring your badge. Like just don't take that with because you look like a mark-ass noob. And also, apparently, they're re-releasing Dragon's Crown. That's what the badges are going to look like this year.
Your badge also has no power anywhere outside of the convention.
Yeah,
center.
You just kind of look like a dork, and you look like a guy from out of town.
You look like a tourist holding an iPad, and you're going to get your ish janked.
But that being said, you're ish janked. That being said, don't be scared to check out downtown LA. Like E3 is cool. It is like a magic like candy fair, but like it's not technically a candy fair, but it's also like in a wonderfully like huge area. There's like beautiful architecture. There's lots of cool stuff to see in downtown LA. So if you're going for the hell of it for fun, like we don't have this luxury, but don't just see games, you know? Like go check out some other stuff. Go check out some restaurants and, you know, bars and things. And
yeah, there's good stuff down there. Don't just eat at like the Chipotle
Yeah.
and then go poop at E3 and then go to bed.
Please don't go to Chipotle and then go poop at E3. That's just mean to people around you. And then finally, just basic etiquette. If you're on your phone, like go off to the side. That's one of the most infuriating things all the time, everywhere I go, like whether it's on the subway or just especially at E3 though, when there's tons and tons of crowds, people looking at their phones trying to answer something and slowing down while they're doing it. And it's like, dude, just take a second, step off to the side. And another thing is do bathe and wear the deodorant because some people don't do that and it's just baffling.
Do you use that spray-on stuff?
No, I just found the sexiest photo of deodorant I could.
Cool. I remember like the spray-on stuff. It grosses me out because it reminds me of like gym class in middle school.
Yeah.
Everyone always had those like spray-on deodorants. And they would spray on kids' faces.
No, I mean they kind of sucked. But there was one year at PAX when I think Axe sponsored something and they were just handing those out, and that was the one time I've been really like appreciative of Axe being very present because it's like, yeah, like whatever it's like Nitro Blast Frost flavor, whatever the scent was. It was preferable to like 5-day-old man. So, you know, spray some stuff on your pits and wash those nasty nuts.
Beautiful. Max, speaking of washing those nasty nuts and taking care of your parts, Valentine's Day is around the corner.
Yeah.
That's a segue. And you might be bored of flowers, or maybe your significant other doesn't want to bear flowers anymore. I get it. It's kind of corny. I think, like, dudes, just step it up a little bit. If you're trying to get a gift for your girl, like, you just go out to the store with, like, 5 minutes left to get one of those sad-ass bears where it's, like, the heart's glued to its chest. It looks like it's dying.
I love you.
Yeah, it's just really trite. Like, come on, think a little bit. But I think that there are examples of maybe going a little bit too outside of the box. I love Star Wars. I love ThinkGeek. I think they do cool stuff. ThinkGeek is launching a set of bouquets for Star Wars fans to give their significant other on Valentine's Day, which you can order right now. They are $47.99, and they are not full of roses. They are full of droids. what?
I don't like this.
So this is odd. It's $47.99. It's called the Droids Bouquet. It's got 9 of them in there, so you don't even get a dozen like roses. And they come sort of like looped into this weird wrapping thing that you can then disconnect from, and then all of a sudden, like, someone has 9 droids. Like, we have desks covered in Star Wars toys, and I think this would be like, it's like a sweet gift, I think, but I wouldn't even know what to do with all these.
You got a bunch of droids on sticks, I guess?
Yeah, like...
I don't know. Like, if this is your logic behind a bouquet, then you can take literally anything and put it on the end of a small stick and then bundle it together, and it's like...
Yeah.
Is that romantic? Like, are they gonna be like Hot Wheels bouquets? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about
Here,
this.
darling, I bought you a dozen small cars because I love you, and I had something fall on my head.
Like I said, like I'm all about. We've actually ran through lots of different products they have that are Star Wars thematic from ThinkGeek. I think they do some cool stuff. I think that every now and then they're also just kind of like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So this is one of those examples.
This feels pretty half-baked.
So anyway, if for some reason your significant other has been naughty this year, and you want to go with something a little more evil, let's take a look at what we get here.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. It's the Vader bouquet. Where you get a little Vader surrounded by a bunch of stormtroopers, which I think makes, like, story-wise a little bit more sense than, like,
I guess
9 droids in a bag.
Yeah. It also is kind of weird to have this, like, angry, hateful cyborg who's known for having a dead wife who he maybe strangled when she was pregnant. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's Darth Vader, dude. Like, it's kind of like a weird, like, kind of a weird dude to have as like a mascot for the love holiday.
Yeah, like this is a man that cut off his son's hand.
Yeah.
In space. Mm-hmm. So that's cool.
Yeah, but I mean, Valentine's Day is a weird time. Also, I love about this is they have a disclaimer on the site that basically says, hey, if you're having this, shipped to somebody like you do with the bouquet, you might not want to have it sent directly to them because it has the product name on the box. So you're just gonna get this box in the mail and it's like
It says like
Star Wars bouquet, and it's like what? Okay. Yeah.
So maybe we didn't talk you off that ledge, and you still want to get them. You should go for it.
How about this?
What?
Get like an R2D2 necklace or pendant or something, and then get a bouquet of roses or just flowers. And then it's like 2 things that are great on their own that shouldn't be combined, and everybody wins.
You know who's getting kisses? This man.
I'm gonna get a whole bunch of kisses all over my face. I bet there's one guy in the comments who's really mad who made kissing noises. He's like, stop making kissing noises. No one wants to hear you kissing.
One day you and I are going to do some kisses with some people out there, and we won't have to do this with our hands.
Yeah.
We'll know exactly what it's like.
We're actually starting up an ASMR kiss channel where you get to hear the sounds of our lips slapping into stuff. We're going to be kissing all kinds of different stuff, like household items. Yeah. Anyway, what's our next story, teleprompter? This one just says notes about these.
You probably just saved $47.99 or however much those things are, but if you're like Max, you're going to put that money into something far more ridiculous.
Yeah.
Death Stranding is a game by Hideo Kojima and his new company. It's coming out soon. He's merchandising the hell out of it, despite the fact that this isn't even playable
Okay,
yet.
so let me back you up there. Death Stranding is theoretically a game. I don't know if it's actually a game yet. It's coming maybe not soon.
Mm-hmm.
We have no idea when it's coming. But that being said, I bought the theme song from the trailer on vinyl.
The theme song?
Not the theme song, but it's Low Roar, I'll Keep Coming. You know how Kojima keeps typing like, I'll keep coming, and you're like, yo, wrong window, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put out that wonderful song. It's a really cool song. I really like it. And they put this gorgeous vinyl pressing out. It's 2 songs.
Who did this,
12
Mondo?
Yeah, Mondo published it. It's got the Koji Pro stuff on the back there.
Yep.
It's kind of a gorgeous like release. Like Mondo does really good jobs with it. But it's also like it's only one song. You know, eventually I'm probably gonna be buying the whole soundtrack too.
It's a little odd to have a thing that says "I keep coming" and then have a picture of a hand with spaghetti ropes coming out.
Yeah,
of it,
well, it's almost as weird as this like this funky kiwi fruit of a vinyl here.
Yeah, that does look like a kiwi fruit.
It's really gorgeous. I'm not like big on buying new records. I buy a lot of used stuff, and like but this is like. It's just kind of weird enough for me to be into it.
Oh, it feels nice.
Yeah, it's like 180 gram.
Yeah.
But that being said, if you're looking to spend money on some Kojima stuff before his game comes out, you're in luck because they are not wasting any time making stuff that you can buy based on things that you don't really have full context for yet. We saw this announced a while ago. There is going to be a Figma action figure of Ludens, who's their mascot, and who we're told isn't actually in Death Stranding. He's just their corporate logo. But they're making an action figure of him, which kind of kicks ass because he's a gorgeous Yoji Shinkawa design.
Is this Figma?
This is Figma,
Cool.
so based on their track record for how much their stuff costs, it's probably gonna be $60-$70.
Yep.
It'll be full colored, obviously, when it comes out. But yeah, that's the prototype. They were showing that off at New York Comic Con recently. And then of course there is the oh, that's the wrong one. Did I show the wrong one? There's the wrong one. Okay, there's the 1/6 scale figure from 1000 Figures, which I thought this was a statue at first, and I looked closely, and it's actually soft goods. So there's like a whole skeleton underneath there. You can get it nude, you can take off its clothes. It lights up. That's probably going to be, I would say, at least $300. Like that's a high-end toy, and that's that's going to be like limited edition, and you're gonna be buying a very expensive doll of a corporate logo.
So, but we get to see what that man looks like naked underneath. Right?
Maybe, probably.
I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah, and then if you want something cuter, there's of course Nendoroids. I think last week we talked about the Breath of the Wild Nendoroids, which
these
are
are
awesome.
great.
These are really cool. I'm like,
Look at that chunky little baby boy.
little funky babies. They
Oh,
got
I
them
love
coming
that.
in like all different colors and stuff. And then if you these all aren't out yet, but this probably run you like $40-$50. And then finally, if you want to like jump on something now, I think these are probably up on eBay because they're sold out on the Kojima Productions store. There's like this. This is like if you back them on Kickstarter, but they're just selling it pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a T-shirt, a bunch of stickers, a cup, a pin, other pins, and a box, and it's all just
6,000. Oh, it's yen.
yeah. So it's
Okay,
like
I got
$60. They also have a bunch of phone cases on there that all have the cool Ludens logo.
Sweet.
I gotta say, like, I'm like not really opposed to this. Like normally I'm like, hey, don't spend money on advertising. You're just becoming a brand. I'm a punk rock kid or whatever. But like, it's a cool space knight drawn by Yoji Shinkawa. Like, I don't care if he's like trying to sell me like Calorie Mate or Doritos or whatever. Like, it's a great design.
I bought a bunch of Captain Phasma action figures before the movie came out, even though she ended up being in like 30 seconds of that film. But I thought it was a really cool design. So I was just like, now I have that toy. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's a fun thing. Also, I mean, just I think kind of like business and I guess merchandising culture is different in Japan. I've actually been playing Yakuza 0, which is an incredibly weird game. There is so much product placement in there. Like you can go to Scotch bars and go Scotch tasting, and they'll give you a description of what the different Scotches taste like. And they're not like generic like video game whiskey. They're like actual brand names. You can also go to arcades and play actual Sega games, which we did. Let's take a look.
Hey everybody, Max and Brian here. We're playing Yakuza 0, which is a game where you can go to an arcade and get toys out of the UFO catcher machine.
Hold on, do a quick lap of this arcade. What else is going on in here?
Okay, well
What do
you
we
got what do you got? You got some old games here. You got Space Harrier here. You can play that.
You can play Space Harrier.
Yep, in the game.
Can you drink shop? What about
there's,
drink shop?
Outrun over here. No drink shop. Drink shop is not a playable game.
Oh man.
It's also a very bad game because once you put in a coin, you just get a nice drink. But this guy's here.
Yeah. Does he get his
Yes,
like
yes,
the
yes.
prize table?
I can trade in some prizes, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Apparently we need some fresh prizes. Let's see how many UFO captured prizes I can get out of the machine.
The load times for when this guy reloads the prize machine in Yakuza are longer than when you die in Neo.
Yeah?
Oh wow. Okay.
All right.
So you're trying to catch these little salamanders?
Yeah. Try to get them.
And those off-brand South Park characters?
Yeah, I don't know what those are supposed to. I think those are those Chinese vampires.
Okay. Oh.
Oh,
Not even
close
close.
one. Real close one. Okay, this is one of those stupid little mini games that's like incredibly addictive.
Mm-hmm. And difficult, it seems.
No, I got 2 of those at once one time.
Really?
It was pretty cool. Everyone was really impressed at my house. I had a lot of friends over. We were all hanging out. They were watching me play the game. Oh! 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 Almost hit.
Oh, come on.
You're on the
Where-
edge of the seat, aren't you there?
Yeah.
You
Where
were?
do you get? So where do you get to put these little Lizardos when you find them?
I have an apartment full of them.
Is that true? Do you get an apartment in this game?
You have an apartment. There's nothing in it but a bedroll, an ashtray, and about 400 or 500 frilled lizards.
So you.
Ooh,
Oh,
damn
come
it.
on!
Come on, lizards. All right, let's try that again. I thought I'd be doing better here. These guys are pretty easy to grab normally because they're all tangled up.
Yeah, they're all covered in spikes and frills.
Maybe that's why it's more difficult.
So when you get these prizes, you can't actually display them anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. You could sell them.
Here we go. Here we
Oh,
come on! Unbelievable. Slippery little
nerve
boys
of
they
these
are.
frilled dragons.
Little wet boys they are there down there. Little wet lizard boys.
try to get this one right by the
You
middle.
better get him. Better give him a good grab.
Maybe this machine's cold. Maybe I need to
Give
go.
him a good tug and throw him right in there. Yank
Come
that
on.
lizard. Hit
Give
that
me one.
snake. Oh, who's
All right,
a
there's
good
one.
boy?
I got one.
We
All
got
right,
him.
yes. Yeah. All right, let's do
All
that
right.
again. I got more turns still. All right.
I don't like these prizes. Let's get a new prize. I don't
Want
like
to go to
this.
another machine and see if they got squirrels or something?
Yeah, I want to get a different animal.
All right.
I
Well,
don't like this guy's face.
Oh,
You got him for
you
sure.
monster.
Aw.
Wait.
Oh,
Ah!
Nope.
Damn it. Okay.
It's close, man. It was close.
It's. I want to say swear words right now.
Okay, what else we
go
got?
over here.
What's down here?
This is the girls' machine.
Ooh, what about that weird duck with the hat?
You want the hat?
Let's change the prizes. Let's get these prizes out of here.
I gotta go talk to that man again.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Let me
That's
try to get
literally his
that.
whole job.
Let me try to get that duck.
Okay, I really like that duck.
Oh, you.
Oh, he's a slippery
Oh!
duck. He did not want to be grabbed. That was his thing. That
I think they
off-brand
should-
Animal Crossing
I
character.
think they should make these with live animals.
Yeah,
I think
I'm-
that'd be
I'm
a
down
pretty,
with that.
A very cool machine.
I feel like that's the thing you could do in Japan. Try to catch a live animal with a claw machine.
Sounds more like a Thailand thing to me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Japan. I feel like you just get like PSPs and children's cigarettes or whatever. Ooh, that's annoying.
Yeah, that was so close. You're only off by like maybe like 2 feet, 2 whole
Well, you
feet.
can't really tell. 'Cause it's,
Go talk to that man. I want to see some new prizes. I don't like surprises at all. Damn it, Max.
I'm just gonna get in the thick of it. Just get down there with my claw. Ooh, look
You
at
trying
this.
to catch that weird professor?
Get the businessman.
You trying to catch that magician otter?
Whatever animal that is.
Oh,
Damn it. Okay.
come on.
All right, I go talk to the man, see if he can swap it out for some different prizes.
Can we get anything cool like some like Genesis games or something like that?
No.
What?
Can we go
Everything
talk
is
to
these
that man?
bootleg ass animals.
Fine.
Talk to
Why
that
don't
man.
we just go play Outrun?
No, I want to talk to that man. Talk to that
You
man.
want to talk to the man?
Yeah.
What about this lady? How's
Don't
it going?
worry about that
What's
lady.
up?
Is she okay? She's dressing like she's at a birthday party in the 70s.
I think she's beautiful.
Yeah, I think so too. But let's get down to brass tacks on that shirt over there. Something wrong with it. Please get us new prizes, sir. We do not like those lizards and ducks.
Those
Thank you very
machines are
much.
broken. I only got one lizard.
Unacceptable behavior with those animals
I
back
love
in
how
there.
we're like, let's see how many prizes we can get in 5 minutes, and then we
Mhm.
talked about it for like 50 seconds, and then we spent.
we got one lizard. I want to see who's in here. What's
What
going
we got?
on?
We got a bunch
No.
of those little mud skippers.
Oh, I like those
what do we
guys. I
got?
like those guys. That's a good one.
Ooh, they got Sega Master System.
Oh, let's get a Sega Master System. I really want that one. That's a good one. That's a good prize to get. Come on, Max. You can do it. You can do it. You got this. You got this, baby. This is your chance. This is your time to shine. Ready? Come on, give that little man a grab. Ooh,
Yeah.
he's going
Come on.
for it. He's
Come
doing
on.
that tickle. He's doing that tickle.
Ooh,
Get right
am I
between
gonna
those
get
little
it?
feet. Right between those little feet. We're getting it. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it.
Oh, come on.
It's okay. Now you get a chance. You got a better chance
That's
now.
cool.
You
I
get right
get
in
3
there.
tries with 1 coin.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not true at all in real life. In real life, they're like $1 now, milking you,
Yeah.
milking you with it.
No,
is
that's
what
actually a
they're
different arcade machine that milks you. They got those ones down at the farm. You put it.
You know, like claw machine videos on YouTube do like crazy views. People
Yeah.
watch these all the time, but
See how
not
this
this
one does.
This one won't do well. Yeah, this one's not going to do well at all. You know how you can tell because we're not doing good. That duck back there is a real ass. He's mocking us right there.
You want me to kill
This
him
looked
with
like
my
some
claw?
sort of cult meeting on the left over here with all these men, these
There's
magician
actually
otters,
cults in this game.
purple
I
magician
had to
otters.
beat up a guy with a lamp because he was running a cult.
All right, we going for it?
I'm going
Doing
for
it? You're doing it. I don't know. I don't think you got a good angle on this one. Come on. Oh, man. No.
Come on.
Ooh. Oh. Come on. Steady, baby. Steady, baby. Steady, baby. Come on. Bring that Genesis home. Bring
We got
home
it.
the master-
Yes!
Yes!
Oh!
Yes! Look at that butt.
That's a big butt.
We did it.
All right.
All right, baby. That's the arcades, the claw machines over in Yakuza 0. We got a lizard and a Genesis game, and our dad's going to be real proud when we get home.
Well, I want to play Outrun.
Okay.
Outrun's sick.
I'm trying to end the video.
Yeah? Well, I want to play Outrun because it's got cool crash sequences. Check it out.
I don't know if you can play this game with one eye.
Yeah,
What
it's
is that?
probably true.
Whoa!
Whoa! There's one thing I got to do just real fast. It's very, very exciting.
What is
Very
it? You
exciting.
going to crash the car?
I just want to flip the car.
Yeah, we got to flip.
That's the weird thing about this game is that they
Whoa!
right?
Get ready.
Oh wow, it talks.
That's a large man at the finish line, the
Yeah.
start line.
So we got to get real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Get up in speed. Really get up there.
Don't kill anybody in the stands.
Look at this. I'm on this nice date with this beautiful lady.
Yeah, it's a good game.
It's
We're getting in there.
great.
Oh, she's dead, and so
How
are
messed
you.
up is that? Anyway, that's a claw machine in Yakuza 0 and crashing a car in Outrun. Video games are a weird time in 2017, but we keep playing them. back to you.
Back to you, Us.
Thanks, Us.
You did a good job back there.
We're back.
Hey! Here we are.
There's a new Batman movie in theaters.
Yeah!
Which is awesome news because we got some not so great news this week about the Batman, which is the Ben Affleck version. Basically, in the last 2 weeks, losing a
Development
director.
hell.
Development
hell is the term for it.
Getting a rewrite, blah, blah, blah.
That being said, we're getting Lego Batman pretty shortly, which I think everyone's like, it's Lego Batman. It's silly. It's got a bunch of famous people doing funny voices in, and it's about toys. So it probably not high expectations, but also it's going to be fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
What we probably didn't anticipate is so far, this is the most critically well-received Batman movie ever.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. Let's do a quick rundown of how the rest of the Batman series has been reviewed according to Rotten Tomatoes. This is, of course, Rotten Tomatoes, not a movie review site. That is an aggregate. It is a bunch of different critics from all over.
Not one man.
Average. Yeah.
Not one man.
I know you're mad about how Rotten Tomatoes scored, BVS. But anyway, so let's start with Batman, the first one, the original Tim Burton one. That was received okay, got a 72%.
Really?
Yeah, which is pretty high. But again, at that point, there was like Superman movies, and most of those were bad. So.
There also wasn't a Rotten Tomatoes, so a lot of this is sort of retroactive. This is pulling up old reviews.
Yep. And then Batman Returns was an 80%. That's actually my favorite Batman movie.
Me too. I totally agree with these so far.
A lot of people forget about Mask of the Phantasm. That was the animated series movie that was released in 1993.
I really like that one.
82%. That was received very well. I feel like that might have gotten a different type of critic because Batman Returns was live action, and there are probably a bunch of people who were like, I'm not going to see a children's movie. This animated, I will not watch it. And then, of course, we start to get to the bad Batman movies. Batman Forever sitting at 40%.
Oof.
Yeah, which is a huge drop from, it's like half as good as the last one or whatever. Get that lower third out of here. We're trying to read what the next movie title is called. Thank you.
He's coming back.
Hey, and then Batman and Robin.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
I don't think I realized.
People really hated that.
Didn't you and I, did we watch this one recently?
Yeah, so the weird thing about those movies is I think they were made to be campy. Like they were basically big budget versions of the Adam West Show, but people didn't really get that. So you watch those movies and you're like, Uma Thurman, what's wrong with you? Why are you sounding like that?
Right.
But it's kind of funny now. Like they're wonderfully bad movies. Like you've got Schwarzenegger coming in and making bad ice puns. Like that's really fun, but especially after kind of better Batman movies, I think people just thought it was just a series going off the rails.
So that's like rock bottom there. That is the lowest 11% it could possibly get.
Pretty bad.
And then enter Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, and obviously Joel Schumacher had other sequels planned, but Batman and Robin not only was a critical bomb, it also just didn't do well at the movies. So it was a minute before we got Batman Begins. It was almost a decade. Batman Begins, refreshing change of pace, 84%, and this should surprise no one. Dark Knight is 94% because that movie is amazing. And then there's, Dark Knight Rises, which is divisive, kind of a step backwards. I still like it, but 87%. And then, much to the chagrin of, some of our commenters, Batman v Superman was 27%. And that brings us to this year. The Lego Batman movie is at 97%.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow.
Obviously, it might change. It might have changed by now already because reviews are still trickling in.
Yeah, I can see that going down a little bit. But then you look at the reviews for the Lego movie, and they were tremendous as well. So
yeah.
I think there's just good teams working on these things. It's interesting to see something like BVS, which sits between Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. And also sort of just this weird range in which the same exact character has been reinterpreted so many different ways. Seeing like the more serious tone that Batman Begins and The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises took, you'd be like, that's the way to go forever, right? Well, not really, because BVS, which wasn't as, which was also serious, kind of missed the mark a little bit. And then you're like, maybe the funny way is the way to go, because Lego Batman is really goofy and ridiculous, but not really, because Batman and Robin and Batman Forever weren't well received. So I think it's finding that kind of interesting mix of both. And I'm incredibly excited for the Lego Batman movie now. I went from being like, oh yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about this, and I'll watch it on an airplane.
But now watch, maybe we'll go in and be totally disappointed because high expectations only lead to disappointment. But if you go in not even knowing what you're doing there, then maybe you'll have a good time. Who knows? So we've got the Nintendo Switch coming out in less than a month now?
24 days.
24 days, that's
Who's
nuts.
counting?
And one of the launch titles, one of the 5 launch titles, is 1-2 Switch, which of course is kind of the thing that they're shipping it with to be like, here's your new party game, it's gonna be a grand old time. We've seen a handful of games being played. The weird thing they're doing is it's not so much an emphasis on the screen it's more of an emphasis on the controllers.
Yeah, they're showing off the HD Rumble and the new Joy-Cons now, and a lot of that is really sort of like weird, almost sort of party games that work well without even looking at the screen. So you'll have your Switch, or at least the sort of the screen aspect of it, kind of docked to the side on its little kickstand, and then you'll be off to each side playing games like without even really looking at it too much.
So yeah, they've been kind of trickling out these videos that show you how to play these games, and because there's such an emphasis on the controller itself, which is in itself about like vibration, you're not looking at the controller, you can't just show gameplay and be like, here's how the game works, so they have to basically demo people demoing the game, and we've got a handful of games that are just really weird. Let's show off one of them right now. I'm not sure which one we have up first, but this one is Baby.
Oh God, where's its eyes?
I'm not even sure how this works as a party game. I guess people have a contest to see who can put the baby to sleep, but that's using...
It looks like it's asleep, dude.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like a health class assignment, so you got to put the baby down and be like, okay. So,
how is this not a WarioWare game, by the way?
I mean, that's kind of it. I think this is straight up this is WarioWare, but they took Wario off of it because he scares children and old people too much.
Yeah.
Also, he's got a huge tank ass. But anyway, this woman woke up with the baby. Oh no, get out of there. But yeah, this looks like fun. I'm more interested in the kind of the competitive head-to-head stuff.
Sure.
What else do we have on here? I think we've got some other weird clips to show off.
The cool thing about 1-2 Switch is that we saw it at the debut of the Switch last month.
Yeah.
But they're sort of quietly revealing more and more games all the time. This is the one that
This is the system seller.
Yeah.
This is the Milker's game. Ooh, squeeze that big teat.
And we haven't talked about this one yet, but I can't imagine Nintendo's remotely surprised at the amount of people that, I don't know, did stuff like put the Brazzers logo in the corner of this, or cut out GIFs of this, because it's just bizarre. Now, keep in mind, without that weird cartoon milk actually absorbing your living room like it's doing right there.
Yeah, you're all just feeling what's...
You're really just yanking in the air with that dude.
Look
that
how
guy.
immersive it is. You get to pretend you're in a whole big pasture.
I didn't like that man at all.
I'm like really excited about this game, and the more I see how like strange it is, like I'm like, I want to get just hammered and play this game.
Yeah.
What other clips we have? Oh, this one's good. This one's especially weird. I love how they're just like, even businessmen can enjoy it. This is a shaving. This is called shaving.
Yeah.
You got to shave your beard, and this is all about like, can you get all the? I guess you just kind of. I mean, I don't know. Like I haven't used a Joy-Con, so I don't know how good the vibration is. People were comparing it to like an iPhone, but like if it actually feels like you're shaving your face and you're trying to not miss a spot, like
I'm all for like more female protagonists in games. This is the real opposite direction. Like 99% of women have never shaved their face like that.
Yeah.
But I am the 1%.
And you're beautiful because of it. All right, what else we got? I'm more and more excited about 1-2 Switch with kind of every day. This one, this one looks like a cult recruitment video.
Yeah.
This is called Count the Balls.
Count the balls with the Amish people.
And you've got to sit down with this social worker here and count the balls.
So the HD Rumble, they showed off in the Switch reveal. You can feel how many ice cubes are in something. So I guess you'll be able to tell just tilting this thing back and forth, like if it'll actually feel like you can tell that there's metal balls in there.
Yeah.
But there isn't. The way Rumble is working in this thing is actually more akin to something like your iPhone.
Yeah.
Like the haptic feedback, rather than the old Rumble that we've had for years. The Rumble that we've had in controllers for years has been basically a motor with a little piece of rubber around it in a tube that just kind of spins violently, and you're like, oh, I shot a guy.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But this is a little bit different, so I'm excited to see how that plays out.
I think we got a couple more to show off. Let's just roll these clips and talk over. And this one's really weird. I don't know how this works. This is called eating contest.
So there's actually a camera in the front of the top of the Joy-Con.
Ew, really?
That can tell sort of how close it is to your mouth when you pretend that it's a sandwich.
Okay. All right, so that's good to know. I love that Nintendo's like, hey, what if we took all this modern technology and made it...
No one eats sandwiches like that. It's so weird.
Okay, yeah, like I'm like, Zelda's gonna be great.
I don't want to look at that.
Okay, all right. This looks like your yearbook page. Brian was part of the sandwich eating team, and he
I was
won
part of Sandwich
gold.
Club. It was actually called a Club Sandwich.
Okay, eating contest. That'll be a hit in America. We're the world champions of eating.
Actually, what we should do in America is do less real eating and more pretend eating.
Yeah. Do we have any other ones to show off? I think we've got some real bad ones. Some of them. Oh, this one.
Okay.
I saw this one on the list, and my eyes bulged out of my head like a cartoon character. This one is called Sword Fight.
So how do you actually know how you're doing. It's very odd.
I don't know.
Yeah, this is very odd.
Yeah, look at this. Everyone's gonna look like a huge dork doing this, and
Which
that's
I love, yeah.
fine. Yeah, I'm excited because it looks like you're pretending to play video games. Like these guys all look like bad stock photos for what video games are like, and maybe that's it. Maybe Nintendo basically made stock photos of video games the game.
Yeah, there's
Like, is
actually
that it?
there's a $2,000 deluxe edition of 1-2-Switch that comes with those Greco-Roman costumes.
Yeah,
yeah.
and that weird Wes Anderson set you can play the games on. All right, so yeah, that's.
Do we have any more?
I think
we got one more.
What
Let's
is
take
it?
a
What
look.
do we got?
Oh, pose. Copy. Pose.
Yeah, this one just.
Copy. This is very odd.
I'm always kind of amazed when games like Just Dance exist on something where it's not actually tracking your whole body.
Yeah.
Like I think that is it Dance Central or which is the one that uses the Kinect, the harmonics one? I get them mixed up. Ubisoft has one that uses you just use a Wiimote and you're just dancing around. It's like kind of tracking, and like I don't know, like this isn't something simple we all know how to do like milk a cow. This is like dancing. This is hard. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't want to play copy dance. I want to make up my own moves. I don't want anyone to copy my sick
I think I'm going to
moves.
be skipping that one. But yeah, the rest of those are really awesome. So I'm really into that. 1-2-Switch is $50. Yank.
Yeah.
Get that milk. Get that
Yeah,
milk.
it's almost like Nintendo's playing Milker with us.
They are, but
Milking us for every last drop.
But the more games they reveal, the more this looks like a good package I want to milk.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah. What a weird motion to make.
Milk.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Okay, so we got an awesome announcement that Samurai Jack is returning for a 5th season. We got the trailer this week. Let's see if we can show that off right now. Samurai Jack, if you're unfamiliar, was on Cartoon Network. It was Gendy Tartakovsky who did like Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Lab. And this was like his weird kind of like quasi-anime. I think it showed up first in, I want to say 2001, 2000?
Yeah.
Something like that. It was pre-Toonami, pre-Adult Swim, but it wound up kind of on both of those eventually. What's really cool here is that the original was like TVY7. It was for all ages. It was basically a Saturday morning cartoon. But everyone who grew up with it has since grown up, and a place for like mature cartoons has like exists now. Like when this first showed up, I don't know, anime wasn't as big. You know, we didn't have stuff like Adventure Time and Steven Universe that were kind of attracting cartoon watchers of all ages. But Samurai Jack is back for season 5, and it is gory.
Yeah, there's blood.
Yeah. You used to have to, like, when we were growing up, like, to see an American cartoon with blood in it, you have to watch HBO for, like, Spawn or something, or, like, Aeon Flux. But yeah, this is really exciting news. So I figured I would run down a bunch of kids shows that we grew up with that always kind of had mature themes, but were never really allowed to kind of cut loose. And if this is successful, I would love to see them kind of make a comeback. So let's get into that. For starters, I harp on this endlessly. Disney's Gargoyles, which was on, I think, in 94, 95. Incredibly dark show. It was about a bunch of, like, basically demon people who turned to stone by day and they would go out in New York City and fight crime at night, sort of. But, like, I don't know, there was a lot of, like, just really weird stuff going on there. Like, there were, like, cyborgs who had a reality show who they would have to fight, and then I'm not selling it. But I mean, there's one episode I remember as a kid where like one of the gargoyles had been watching a bunch of like cop shows on TV, and he finds like they're friends with this police officer, and he finds her gun and accidentally shoots her. Like, this is a children's show where a large stone man shoots a police officer with her own gun, and then feels really bad about it. So like that was an after school cartoon. That was a Disney afternoon. I don't know how they got away with that. So I mean, I would love to see if Disney's like, hey, Pirates of the Caribbean is a carnival ride we turned into like a PG-13 rated movie. Like, maybe make some anime-ass gargoyles. I want to see that.
I think what you said is really important, too, at the top of the segment about how the audience has grown up.
Yeah.
And we sort of look back on those shows, probably remembering them more gritty than they actually were. And to sort of scale that up to where we are now is a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Can a gargoyle bleed? Stone?
Well, that was what was
blood?
messed up, is they would kill them during the day. Like, dudes would come by and like, it's easy to smash a stone statue with like a mace or something.
Yeah.
They were like the last of their kind because dudes like found out where they hung out and they killed them all. They were sleeping. It was crazy. Anyway, another one, I always love this one. This is on Kids WB, Men in Black, the series.
Yeah.
That was like, it was just really weird. It was very dark. They got away with a lot of kind of like gooey violence because all the aliens had like green blood or whatever. But they would like, I don't know, they kind of took the premise of the movie, and it was way more serious and grounded than the live action movies were. And it was, I mean, I'd love to see that come back or just reinterpreted. I mean, Men in Black is still kind of around, I guess.
Yeah.
So who knows? That one I feel like is more of a long shot. Obviously, Jonny Quest, classic cartoon show. It got this weird kind of like 90s reboot called Real Adventures of Jonny Quest, which was surprisingly smart when it came out.
Yeah, it was. It was a really good show.
Yeah, like they were going into VR. I mean, they had a lot of stuff that felt like it was borrowed from like Neil Stephenson, like Snow Crash and stuff. And like Race Bannon was basically like a Navy SEAL who hung out with them, and like Haji was a computer programmer. It was a really good show. And you know, in terms of adult like Jonny Quest shows, we've got Venture Brothers, which has become almost its own serious show in itself. But I would love to see like, you know, how do you take Jonny Quest as an animated series and make it like grounded? How do you make that believable? Like, give me like Jerry Bruckheimer's approach to, you know, Jonny Quest. Like,
Yep.
Moving on, another one more recently that was on Toonami, Megas XLR was a show about dudes who found a giant robot in a junkyard and they repaired it by putting a car where the head was.
I've never seen this show. Somehow I missed it. It's in a blind spot for me. But you
yeah.
explained it to me and immediately sold me on it.
Yeah, so you had like a nerdy dude and this like gearhead guy who looks like Guy Fieri, and they basically worked on this robot, and they wound up being like kind of like hobbyist mech pilots. But it was cool because it had all these like kind of like robot anime influences, but it was still filtered through kind of this almost teenage Dexter's Lab sensibility. So I'd love to see that get another fair shake. And then this is one of my personal favorites, Freakazoid. Is actually a Bruce Timm character. Freakazoid was Bruce Timm made the Batman animated series. He designed Freakazoid, and Freakazoid was a bunch of dudes who worked on like Batman, and like, I mean, it was Paul Dini wrote a lot of the shows for this. Freakazoid is a dude who gets superpowers because a cat walks across his keyboard when he's on the internet, and he gets sucked into cyberspace and becomes basically like internet Deadpool. He's kind of very cartoony.
That pitch.
Yeah, it's so like, good. And this came out in like '96 when like the internet was like 4 cat pictures in a text file. So Freakazoid makes a ton of sense in 2017. I hope they wouldn't make it like too memey or whatever, but I would love to see. You know, he's like Deadpool, but doesn't kill any people. He just makes them like sing songs and do weird stuff. Rocko's Modern Life. We grew up with that on Nickelodeon. That is a surprisingly mature show. There's a lot of weird stuff in there.
I file this next to Ren and Stimpy in terms of ones that when we were watching, I don't think we really realized how adult and vile they could be. And then going back with sort of a more twisted lens.
Yeah, but whereas like Ren and Stimpy was very gross, like Rocko's Modern Life is something I'm still sort of getting the sense of. Like there's like an episode about credit card debt where he goes and buys a bunch of stuff and then his credit card comes to life in the night and he has nightmares about it. And like there's all this like, I don't know, his dog falls in love with a mop, and there's stuff that was like goofy and cartoony, but then there's other stuff like, oh, you have to buy a vacuum cleaner. That sucks. Or like going to IKEA, like things that we do as adults that we're like, oh man, we were totally warned about this, but we thought it was just a goofy cartoon show. Anyway, another one, Rugrats.
Yeah.
That is a show that they have done the all grown up version, but how about one that's more about parenting?
I was going to say, the parents on this show to me are the stars because they're all so warped. You look at someone like Phil, you look at his wife, like they're just sort of like varying degrees of the 7 deadly sins. There's like sloth and there's greed.
And there's lip shits.
Yeah, lip shits. Like there's we're not cursing, that's a real word on that show. There's something very just tragic and morbid about adults who are trying to live through the successes and failures of their own children, but realizing that themselves are probably
I mean, I'd love to see. Yeah, I'd love to see what are the Rugrats like as parents. That would be interesting.
Yep.
And then finally, not a cartoon show, but Are You Afraid of the Dark? That was a very creepy show when we were kids, and it'd be cool to see it get the Black Mirror treatment.
Yeah,
but I mean, I feel like just a horror anthology show could kind of do its own thing.
Yeah, I feel like you look at something like Stranger Things, which is sort of showing you how you can take something that's kind of retro horror and inject, still have children present for it and not make it weird. So yeah, I'd love to see that. This is a good list.
This has been a really good week for adult cartoon stuff, not the tentacle kind, but like just mature interpretations of kid stuff. We got news that Netflix is going to be making a Castlevania cartoon show with Frederator Studios, who are the guys who worked on Adventure Time, Fred Siebert. I think I read that Warren Ellis is going to be writing it. It sounds really cool. It's being pitched as basically an R-rated cartoon show about Castlevania that does some deep lore stuff about hunting vampires.
Sounds like it's going to be bloody. For example, the last time we saw a Castlevania cartoon show was sort of in the 80s, where Simon Belmont would show up as part of like the Captain N scenario. Not a great look for him. He was just pretty goofy and stupid.
Yeah.
But so I think that like that is a serious, like kind of tonally terrifying lore.
Yeah.
So to throw something a little more serious behind it is really cool. If you look at like what they're doing with Voltron right now, I think taking a classic franchise, bringing it to Netflix and animate it is a good look for them. So
Yeah.
we'll see where that goes.
We have a handful of video games that we would love to see turned into cartoon shows done in certain styles. Let's start with this one. I don't know how you would make a Metal Gear Solid movie, but a Metal Gear Solid cartoon show at the very least could be really cool.
Yeah.
This one I hadn't even thought of. Doing it in the style of Batman the Animated Series?
Yeah, there's something grim and weird about this and dark that just
Yeah.
totally fits. But there's also, I think that Batman the Animated Series had moments of goofiness and humor
Sure.
that totally shone through. And it was rare for them, but it was cool to see that happen.
I mean, I feel like this one's a pretty huge long shot because if they're going to make a Metal Gear Solid cartoon, they're probably going to do it with an anime studio, given that it is a Japanese franchise. But that said, like, I kind of want to see somebody do some Metal Gear Solid, Paul Dini's or Bruce Timm style illustrations. It'd be really badass. Then, of course, this one's great.
Yeah, this is Red Dead and Samurai Jack, which I mean, we just showed you Samurai Jack, what he looks like now. I think taking those sort of same sensibilities and applying them to not so much a spaghetti western, but a straight up western.
Yeah, screw it. Give me a Gendy Tartakovsky western. That sounds badass.
Yeah, I really like the idea of this.
This one surprised me. This is an interesting approach.
Yeah, so Yuri on Ice, your fiance is really into the show. Tons of people are. The idea of like an animated sports show or like a show about competitions is really interesting to me. And you have these underdogs and you have like feuds between everyone. Little Mac is a perfect character for something like that. He goes up against these like giant racist caricatures, these brute, grotesque men that try to kill him with their fists.
Sure.
So I think having that sort of the week to week, watching him train, watching him fail, watching him come back at the season finale and beat up Bald Bull.
I think there are a handful of boxing anime. I don't know if there's been a Punch-Out one, but that's a really cool idea.
Sure.
I mean, I like the idea of them being just like, I mean, you get stuff like, One Punch Man, which is just a big challenging thing. This one's interesting. Duke Nukem in the style of Archer.
Yeah. So you have this just like crass, womanizing garbage man who somehow gets the job done, and he's kind of lovable in a weird way. You'd have to update him because I think Duke Nukem is just horribly, painfully misogynistic.
I would have done him in the style of The Tick.
Sure.
Like more action, less talking. Because I mean, Duke Nukem talking, you can only do so much of that.
I think that like you'll have your exposition, you'll have your explosions and stuff like that, but it's really going to be a lot of him just trying to figure out why he's even doing what he's doing.
Who put all these poops in my bed?
My big fat dunker.
And then here's one, finally, Zelda crossed with Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
I would have thrown Metal Gear and Cowboy Bebop together, but I see what you're doing here. Got those eyes.
Yeah, I think there's just something very wonderfully flowy about this. Very specifically, the art style of Breath of the Wild, the way the grass animates, the way the hair animates. There's just something really amazing about. I mean, you've seen a ton of Cowboy Bebop. The fight scenes alone, the animation. There's really nothing else like them.
I mean, based on what we've seen in Breath of the Wild, there's a lot of similarities between the Studio Ghibli stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see Ghibli team up with Nintendo and make a Zelda movie or
we
short
we got news a couple months ago that they're working on a TV show for the first time out of that studio, so that could be pretty interesting. But yeah, let us know what you'd like to see. I mean, we grew up with like cartoons, we grew up with video games. When we've seen them come together, we've gotten stuff like the Super Mario Super Show, which is not so great. The Zelda cartoon, which is abysmal. Captain N, which I think we remember a lot more fondly than it actually was. And then the weird stuff like Donkey Kong and Sonic, which kind of did a little bit better at getting it right.
I mean, we haven't seen really any good video game movies, but maybe the secret is animated series. Maybe do like shorter, like more, like give me like the Clone Wars micro series that Gendy Tartakovsky did. Like give me like weird, succinct things. So
we only have a few minutes left. We had a few extra stories, but I think we'll save them. We got a tweet from Jared Lester, that's at Darth Laser. He says, "What up, guys? Thanks for all the random crap you guys talk about. Question, which Star Wars alien would you want to replace E.T.? So the movie E.T. is about an alien crash landing on Earth, and Elliot and his family sort of take care of it. But what if it wasn't E.T.?
What if it was the Boogaloo? The thing from Rogue One, that big mind-reading tentacle boy. Like I love the idea that Elliot goes out in his shed and there's this big terrifying tentacle monster eating a bunch of like Elliot Boogaloo. And it's just touching this boy and he's like,
or he gets this like fat baby junior hut that he's got to bring everywhere, and like the feds are looking for like a trail of slime through the woods.
I like that he thinks he finds an Ewok, but it's just a bear cub and it winds up mauling him.
Yep.
We probably shouldn't be hired to reboot Star Wars E.T.
Talha Malik says, "Do you even read the tweets, man?" Yeah.
Sorry, we're trying to do
Evidence.
a show here. It's
See you in court.
kind of juggling.
Because
stuff.
you're going to jail.
Yeah, check this out. I have to run all these images off my laptop. It's like a terrible PowerPoint presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. There's a whole show here. Doing all that, flipping through that. Got to do that. Make them all in Photoshop first. Sometimes I screw up. It's very stressful. So no, I'm not reading your tweets. Brian is.
Yeah.
And sometimes he's busy talking to me. So anyway, coming up next, we got a For Honor live stream at 3 p.m. That's not next.
I'm doing that. I'm hosting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have a good time with that one.
Yeah. Sorry, we didn't read your tweets.
We got James Duggan, who's fantastic at that game, Alana Pierce, who's really good at that game too, and me, who's not good at that game at all. So you should tune in 3 p.m. and watch us decapitate people, behead people as knights, samurais, and Vikings. Until then, that's all we got for you. There's the dog that poops, and we out.
Goodbye. Why does it just stop walking? That sucks.
I think we're done. You can put the thing up now, the logo. That's how it ends, right?
Is it over?
I think not. I think it's still going.
All right, we could always do this.
Yeah, we can
some
do it
more.
again.
Some dog walking.
There we go.